YouTube, this is Fear the Ghost here once again, and as you can probably tell, we are currently looking at a Ghostrick build. Now, if you've seen my channel, you've probably noticed that I have a picture of the Ghostricks, yet I have failed to show any so far on my actual channel itself. And I'd like to remedy that, so here is a Ghostrick build that I intend to use after Primal Origin. Here we have 3 Ghostrick dolls. If you don't know what Ghostrick doll does, what she does is during the end phase of the turn she was flipped up, you flip all monsters on the field, both yours and your opponent's, to face down defense position, and you can special summon one Ghostrick monster from your not from your extra deck, from your main deck that's level is equal to or less than the total monsters flipped face down. Also, all Ghostricks have one thing that makes it kind of hard to play them. You have to have a face-up Ghostrick, or you cannot normal summon any of them. Next up, we have Ghostrick Ghoul, who is a TCG only Ghostrick card. Like all of the others, he cannot be normal summoned unless you control another Ghostrick. Also, all of them can flip themselves back face down. That is an ability all of them have. An example of other cards that do that would be things like Deslakuta, Golem Sentry, things like that, where you can flip summon them and use their effects and then activate their effects to put them back face down. And Ghoul has an interesting ability. It's the only one like it out of all of the Ghostricks. He can target one face-up Ghostrick you control, and it gains the attack of all other face-up Ghostricks on the field until the end of your opponent's next turn. Now this can be very helpful because Ghostricks are very low attack point monsters. Some of the highest attack belong to Ghostrick Mummy at 1500, Ghostrick Stein at 1600, and Ghostrick Alucard, who's in the extra deck, at 1800. Next up, we have Ghostrick Jiangshi. He used to be called Kionshi. But what he does is, when he's flipped face up, you can add a Ghostrick monster from your deck to your hand whose level is less than or equal to the total number of face-up Ghostricks. Now, he doesn't have to be flip summoned for this effect, so it also works if he's flipped face up by battle. So say your opponent attacks your set Jiangshi. You can flip it, add Spectre, and we'll get into why you'd want to add Spectre later. Next up, we have Ghostrick Lantern. When your opponent declares a direct attack or an attack on a face-up Ghostrick monster, you can activate its effect to special summon itself from your hand and negate the attack. Also, we have Ghostrick Mary. What Ghostrick Mary does is, whenever you take damage, either effect damage or battle damage, you can discard her from your hand and special summon a Ghostrick monster from your deck. Any Ghostrick monster. Now, Ghostrick Mummy, he's okay, but he's not really all that terribly good for the deck as a whole. You do get to normal summon extra Ghostrick monsters, but the main issue is that you generally wind up having a lot of the level 1s in your hand because your opponent is trying not to activate them for you. So you're not going to have him usually with anything you would actually want to summon in your hand. But he's good to have around. Sometimes he has saved me before, so I think he's good at 1, but you wouldn't want to run 2 unless you run a lot of the level 2s or 3s. Over here we have Ghostrick Skeleton. There is a mill deck around him because when he's flipped face up, you banish the cards from the top of your opponent's deck face down for every face-up Ghostrick you control. So he's very annoying. People generally try to take him out as fast as they can because he's very annoying, and it may start slow at first, but as the duel goes on, you will be losing a lot of cards, and before you know it, if you haven't taken him out or tried to take him out, you'll notice that you've lost 10 to 15 cards out of your deck, and that you're getting into some real troublesome territory. And over here we have Ghostrick Spectre. Ghostrick Spectre, I mentioned him before with Jiangxi. Uh, Whenever a Ghostrick monster you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon himself from your hand and draw a card. So the reason why you'd want to add him off Jiangxi is because he will flip, you'll get to add, then Jiangxi will die, and you can special summon Spectre. Um, it mainly helps you keep board presence, and it lets you draw a card to replace him, and it also keeps a Ghostrick on field for your normal summons. Also, one thing both Spectre, also the main thing about Doll, Lantern, Spectre, and Mary is they all summon the card in face down defense position. So you'll want to keep that in mind. If your opponent keeps you from being able to flip it up on your turn, you will not be able to summon a single card in your deck, and it can get very annoying. There's also a card called Light of Intervention, which what it does is neither player can set cards. Instead, you normal summon your card in face-up defense position, which does not work out for you because they cannot be normal summoned, which is very bad. And also, you can't flip them back face down to activate their effects. Because one thing you can do is you can use Lantern or Mary to put a card on field, but if you don't have those, you're going to be in some very bad situations. Next up, we have Stein. Whenever he deals battle damage, you can add a Ghostrick card from your deck to your hand. Ghostrick Speller Trap card. Not Ghostrick card, Speller Trap card. Sorry. Next up, we have Witch, who, what she does is she flips your opponent's monster face down to face down defense. Next up, Maxi. Most people know what Maxi does. During either player's turn, you send him to the graveyard, and you get to draw every time your opponent special summons a monster. Next is Book of Moon, which just changes the face-up monster to face-down defense. Dark Hole destroys all monsters on field. Ghostrick Mansion. What Ghostrick Mansion does is it's their main. They have 3 field spells, but this is their mainly used one. Actually, they may. I think they have gotten a 4th field spell. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Nope, it's still only 2. So they only have this one. They only have these 3 field spells. This is the most commonly used one. What it does is all the field spells do this. Monsters cannot attack face-down defense position monsters. So if you're wondering how they survive, these field spells are the main reason. But it also lets both players attack the opponent directly if all monsters are set. Now, why would your opponent be setting cards whenever you have this field spell? Well, the answer is, for the most part, they don't. But we'll get into why this actually works out later on. Next up, we have Mystical Space Typhoon. Most people know what Mystical Space Typhoon does. You just destroy one spell or trap. Also, it's a quick play, so you can set it first. We also have Swords of Concealing Light. For those of you who don't know what it does, when you activate it, it's basically the opposite of Swords of Revealing Light. All monsters on your opponent's field go face down. You set all cards on your opponent's side of the field, and monsters cannot manually change their battle positions on your opponent's side of the field until the second standby phase of your turn. So if you're wondering how Mansion gets you to attack them, that's why. It does more than just protect your cards. When combined with stuff like this, you get to attack your opponent directly. Also, we have Ghostrick Scare. When you activate it, you can target any number of face-down defense position monsters you control. You change them all the face up, count the number of Ghostricks, and if you do, you can change that many face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. Next up, we have Ghostrick Banish. You activate it if when you activate it, you can reveal a Ghostrick monster. Well, you have to reveal the Ghostrick monster as a cost of activating it. But this turn, Ghostrick cards you control and face-down defense position monsters you control cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. We also have Ghostrick Go Round. This sounds like a very funny card, and it kind of is, but it's really good at messing some decks up. Once per turn, during the battle phase, you can activate one of these effects. Target one face-up Ghostrick monster you control, change that target to face-down defense position, and if you do, change one face-down defense position monster your opponent controls to face-up attack position. Also, you can target one face-down defense position monster you control, change that target to face-up attack position, and if it is a Ghostrick monster, change one face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense position. So, this does a lot of damage to decks like Boojins, which require their monster to be face-up to really be able to do much of anything. And it also damages decks that really mainly focus on attacking. It can really hurt things like Beals, because Beals can just kind of, it can't do anything to it. Like, nothing, none of his effects at all work against Ghostrick Go Round. Vanish, Scare, Swords of Consuming Light, Mansion, Book of Moon, which Bills kind of just drops to all of it. Also, we have Solemn Warning, which you pay 2,000 life points to negate the summon of a card or to negate the activation of an effect that would summon a card. And summon obviously refers to monster, since anything... I mean, there are trap monsters, but they say summon this card as an effect monster, or as a normal monster. For the extra deck, we have Digusto Phoenix, detach an XYZ material, target any wind monster you control, and it can attack twice this turn. Gachi Gachi, all monsters you control gain 200 attack and defense. Ghostrick Alucard, you can detach. Your opponent cannot target any face-down defense position monsters or Ghostrick monsters for attacks. You can detach one XYZ material, destroy a set card your opponent controls, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add another Ghostrick card from your graveyard to your hand, except for the Ghostrick Alucard that's sent there. Ghostrick Dualahan takes 2 level 1s. What he does is he gains 200 attack for each Ghostrick card you control, and once per turn you can detach one XYZ material, target a face-up monster on the field, and have its attack until the end phase. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can target another Ghostrick card in your graveyard and add to your hand. We also have Leviair, which you detach one XYZ material, special summon a banished level 4 or lower monster. String Jin, he is going to most likely be the only Jin monster you have on the field. He doubles the attack of a Jin monster that's attacking. Leviathan Dragon, detach an XYZ material, gain 500 attack, but if it has no XYZ material, it cannot attack directly. Dark Mist, you can detach an XYZ material to gain the attack of a monster it's battling. Slacker Magician cannot be destroyed by battle once per turn. Tempo, you detach material from it to detach a material from an opposing XYZ, and your Jins gain 500 attack. And then Zen Mange, you detach an XYZ material to prevent it from being destroyed, and during the end phase, you get to destroy one card on the field. This is Fear the Ghost, and my turn is over.